I think my information is correct when I looked and I saw that the number of people who actually have long-term care insurance has dropped over the years as a percentage of the population. Uh, are you seeing more people moving into, I think you call them the linked insurance, where you've got the whole life insurance and then you have the long-term care? Is that replacing the people who would typically have gone into the I'm going to call it traditional long-term care insurance?
It's not replacing. I'll answer the question, understanding that you're a financial advisor. I think more financial advisors are selling those products. I think they're selling them because of all they're a real easy sale. And people that have had stock market performances, and if you're managing somebody's stock portfolio and their asset pool, their valuation's gone up, it's an easy way to say, John and Mary, people don't like to talk about long-term care planning, and I understand that, you've heard all the things, if you don't use it, you lose it, blah, blah, blah. So there's this option for you. We can just move a little bit of your CDs, which were earning 0% or 1%, and you're keeping your safe money, and we can move it over here, and it'll still grow. You'll have a death benefit, you'll have long-term care protection. And people look and go, that makes sense. Now, let me try and be helpful. I don't have a horse in the race. So the answer to your question is yes. Far more people are buying linked benefit products than in the past. Are they the right purchase? That's up to the individual and up to their financial advisor. It's not, and we have prices again that compare. It's not that the insurance companies have said, wow, we figured out a way, for long-term care insurance, we charge $2,000. We can charge $2,000 and give you two products for the price of one.
Right. Right.
So you could buy traditional policies and get your money back. It's called a return of premium option. Nobody takes that option because it basically is enormously expensive. Life insurance, you have to ask yourself, if you're 65, 70 when you're buying this, do you need life insurance? Some people would say, sure, it doesn't hurt, but it's not that you're getting it for free. The most fuel efficient purchase is traditional policy. Why? Because you're buying a product that does one thing. If you need long-term care and you qualify, it pays for long-term care. If you don't, just like your homeowner's insurance or your car insurance, you bought insurance that you don't need. If you look and say, I either have a need for life insurance, or my family has a need for life insurance, or I understand that, I want the option of not buying something that I'm never going to get my money back on, then that's an option for you, to look at. Those are excellent products. They're excellent options. But it's not like you're getting something for nothing.
No, I understand that. I think most people would understand that too. But I think the point that resonates with people is the idea that, if I don't need long-term care, if I step out and get hit by a bus and I never use the long-term care, that's money that I've spent that I can't recoup at any point. Whereas with the linked benefit products that you mentioned, at least you're getting some money back. You're paying for it, but you're having
I would argue
options. Two options.
I would look at you, and you could run the numbers and say, because we have actually on our website prices for linked benefit. So it's the old story of like buy term insurance and invest the rest. If I went to you as a client and said traditional long-term care insurance is $1,500 a year, linked benefit product, same policy, same options, is $4,000 a year. What if we took that $1,500, bought you the insurance, took the additional $2,500 and invested it? Now, you're absolutely right. You get hit by the bus next year, you can't out-invest it. But if you live for 30 years and you keep investing. So, it's just, nobody can guarantee,
Right. and I think that's another hurdle for people too. They just don't know what their needs, what the outcome is going to be. You know, we can sit here and say, you know, I'll probably live to age 85, and that maybe those last few years I'll need the long-term care, or maybe I don't. You know, so it's
Well,
always
that's
the
why I
unknown,
go.
and I can tell you, as a financial advisor for many years, people are not inclined to do things unless they have to do things. You have to pay taxes. You don't have to save and invest. So a lot of people are finding themselves approaching retirement age, and they haven't saved and invested, and they're wondering, okay, should I have hit the snooze bar on my button on my financial planning all those years? And maybe this is one of those situations where people need
Oh,
to, you know,
the
wake up and
vast
look around at their options.
um, there's two categories of people. Um, the vast majority, I agree, the vast majority of people who will buy this insurance have witnessed firsthand the consequences of needing long-term care, whether it's with an aging parent, a family member, somebody, a friend, a neighbor. They've seen it, and they've seen how it's impacted their family. And so they look and they go, I don't want to do that to my children. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so they buy insurance. People, and you know, yes, look, we're the first generations that are really making it to our 80s and 90s. Only a small, you talked about percentage. I don't look at percentage of the population that has long-term care insurance, because I just read a statistic that 90 million Americans are on Medicaid, okay, which is welfare healthcare.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
that's a third of the population. The other 2/3, you know, don't have, most people, unfortunately, don't have much of a retirement savings. So you have to have so many things in place. This is a product that I would define. Maybe we should have said this first. One, you're in your 50s and 60s. Two, you're a planner. Okay, and those are people that are going to be talking to you. Most people don't talk to you. You know, they're going to enter retirement and, whoa, I got $10,000, honey. We're buying the Winnebago, and then they got nothing. So they're in the right age. They're a planner. They have savings and assets that they want to, willing to spend, but not spend all of them. Okay. They know they might have to spend some of them. And then secondly, they don't want to turn their loved ones into caregivers, because if you're single, you know, and I'll ask last one. I don't know if you do much work with women who are on their own, but we, you know, here we are, two guys. This is a woman's issue.
Right.
This is,
Right. Yeah, I
you
agree.
know,
I agree very much.
it used to be that if you were a woman, you bought long-term care insurance and you paid the same as men. And then the insurance companies realized that 2/3 of all claims are made by women, and that 2/3 of all the benefits are paid to women. That this is a woman's issue, either A, because the woman's going to become the caregiver for her spouse and then outlive him, or B, she's going to be alone if she's married now, or if she was never married, and she's going to need care, and she doesn't have anybody else to provide her care. Long-term care insurance today is more costly for women than it is for men, traditional policies, because the insurance companies, it's not that they're looking to penalize women. When that change happened, everybody was up in arms. These are the numbers. So the people, this is a small segment of the population, and it's a difficult topic. And people have to look, as I say, if you have no money, well, then you're going to go on Medicaid, and whatever Medicaid, whatever the good graces of taxpayers are willing to do and give you, that's what you're going to get. If they cut Medicare and Medicaid benefits, then, you know, that's life. If they expand it, if the economy is good and taxpayers are feeling rich and they keep funding government programs, then the program will be good, but you're only going to get whatever is available. If you have money, then you're going to get what you're willing to spend it on and willing to afford. Having some, and you're going to supplement it with your family members. having some insurance, as I always say, gets you better care, better options, faster access, and it allows your loved ones, my words are, it allows your loved ones to care about you, not to have to care for you. And that, when you get all of that down into an essence, that's the person who looks and says, yes, I need to talk about long-term care insurance.
Yeah, you mentioned this is a woman's issue. I'm going to take it one step further. You're talking about spouses caring for a husband, and then the husband typically will predecease them. I think we need to take it down to the next generation too, because a lot of times the both parents, as we get age, we get into those no-go years, and the studies have shown that it's really the daughters or the female members of our family, maybe immediate daughter, maybe a daughter-in-law, or niece, nephew, along that line. They're the ones who are picking up the care for
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the elderly. So, I guess we could argue also that by having long-term care, we're making it easier on those people too, who are
But
younger, approaching their own retirement and have their own things to
it,
do. A lot of them
it,
are in that sandwich generation, stuck between elderly parents and
you're,
raising their own kids.
you're going to need care. You live a long life. You're going to need care. The body doesn't get younger. We understand dementia is a disease that hits and there's no cure. And so while there are things to delay it and ways to maybe prevent, it's a disease. Aging isn't a disease. It's like keeping your hair from turning gray. You can color it, you can do things, but it's going to turn gray. Aging isn't a disease, and so it just is now a matter of when you age, you live a long life, you're going to need care. The question then is, who's going to provide that care? Are you willing to pay for it? If you are, and some people are, and God bless them. As I said, my mom's turning 98. She was talking, she goes to a senior center, plays bridge, gets driven there. And she was talking about a couple that are both still alive. They have two caregivers that sit with them in the senior center. So imagine this. I don't know what they're paying, but in New York City, they're paying anywhere from $25 to $40 an hour. She goes, they each have an aide that sits there with them while they play bridge, then takes them home, feeds them lunch. She, and she goes, I guess they're willing to pay. She goes, why couldn't one aide provide sandwiches or take care of both? Some people are willing to spend the money. If you are, then that's terrific. You should not buy insurance. But, I would answer somebody like that. Typically, everybody has what I call an insurance tolerance level. And that's the barometer in my mind for how you plan long-term care insurance. So when you buy a house, sometimes, or not when you buy a house, if you take a mortgage, you have to have insurance because the bank doesn't trust you to be able to, they want their money if your house burns to the ground. So you have to have insurance. But after your house is fully paid off, you really don't need insurance anymore. If your house is fully paid off, you own it, cancel your insurance. If it burns to the ground, oh well. If you have savings, you build a new house. If you don't, turn to FEMA and you'll live in a FEMA, trailer home. But most people, if they paid off their house, would maintain their homeowner's insurance, even though they don't need it. And that's because they've looked and they've said there's a risk. I'm willing to insure for that risk. Well, long-term care insurance, if somebody's watched this far into the interview, if A, you're interested, B, gauge long-term care insurance based on your insurance tolerance. If you look and go, I want to shift some of the burden to an insurance company, keep some of it myself, goes back to some long-term care insurance is better than none.
All right, we should probably wrap this up. Before we do, though, I want to point out to anybody who has made it through, and I got to tell you, Jesse, this was, I'm looking at the time here. We're about 45 minutes into this. This is one of the fastest 45 minutes
Good.
that I that I've spent. A couple things. If anybody who's watching this and they're thinking, okay, Jesse makes a lot of sense, I need to investigate this a little bit more, feel free to call me as a starter. I mean, I don't sell insurance, but I can help them have this extended conversation. When it comes to affording long-term care insurance, I would point people towards another interview I did, which has to do with using reverse mortgages and some of the applications of reverse mortgages. A lot of people have this huge asset that they're sitting on. And then if you're wondering, all the things that Jesse said kind of makes sense to me, but how can I afford it? Well, maybe that's a conversation that I can have with the clients about that. You don't have to be a client. I'm happy to have that conversation with you, regardless of whether you're a current client or not. But also your website, you have the amount of information on your website. I mean, I could spend a month just, it's a rabbit hole. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I think you're doing a great job.
Understand.
You start reading one thing and then you're pulled over to another. Oh, I need to investigate this, that, or the other. But do you also, I mean, would a consumer reach out to you for any reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't sell, but I'll share this. So one, long-term care insurance is a specialized field because the product. So first, let's go to the bugaboo, the pricing. I think when we did on our website the 2023 pricing, because I've not seen as significant a difference, and that's because some insurers lowered their prices, but not all. So I'm looking for my sheets. Oh, I moved it somewhere. I'll do it from memory. Comparing apples to apples, insurance company A, their Apple, $2,000. Insurance company B, their Apple, $3,500. Insurance company C, same Apple, by the way, same policy, same benefits, same provisions, all of that, more than twice. Why? Each insurance company gets to pick what they choose. Some insurance agents only sell one company. Others are brokers for multiple ones. The same thing is true on the linked benefit products. We truly believe that working with a specialist is in your best interest. One, they really understand the nuances of these products, the policy language. Nobody's ever going to read their bloody policy. The woman that I talked about earlier today, swore that she knew the provisions of her policy. And I said, I promise you, you've never read fully the 30-page contract that was developed by a team of lawyers that says that they can raise your rates. Even though you perceive it, your policy is your contract. The specialists really understand these. So one, anytime you have somebody, you can call us, so could a consumer, and we will connect them with a specialist. And the specialist is someone, as I said, who's been doing this multiple years, represents multiple companies, really understands the nuances of the products. And, while all insurance agents earn a commission when they sell you something, you only buy long-term care insurance one time. This is not like Geico, or Flow from Prudential, where, hey, I bought this and now I can come back in 5 years and change it. Once you buy a policy, you don't change it. Sorry about the phone. You'll either pay more or you won't health qualify. So you got to do it right the first time. And so, yes, you can call us and we'll connect people with good specialists.
Great point. And on the information below, we'll make sure we put the link to your website and your phone number, how to reach out to connect with you. So Jesse, thank you. It's people like you who are contributing to my project, which is trying to get all these various areas of interest for people as they age, to make their life a little bit easier. You're making it happen for me, that I can push this information out there. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.